The following podcast is an enticing media production.
Where the Nell have you been? Join us for conversation about life, business, and everything in between. Welcome to What the Nell, where we've got stories to tell. Here's your host, Nell Tice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the What the Nell podcast, the Ecopreneur's Edge edition with Mikey Benz. Mikey, welcome back.
Hi, Nell. Thanks again for having me. I am sincerely appreciating every moment we get to spend together.
I know. I love it. Me too. So for those who maybe haven't listened to another one of our episodes, which you totally should and go back and listen. But for those who haven't, tell us a little bit about who you are and why are you here with me doing this series?
Wonderful. Well, I am Mikey with two E's. I am also known as Metro Mikey on all social media platforms if you need to find me. The two E's in my name are why I'm here. Those stand for the environment and everyone, the two things that I care about the most. I am a Central Pennsylvania business leader and double business owner. I have owned an eco-friendly, sustainable salon for 11 years now. I've been in the industry for 14. Don't ask me why I decided to start a salon 3 years after going to beauty school, but it's been an amazing ride, and I hope to share that journey with everyone. And then I also own Metropolis Aerial Arts Studio, which is an eco-friendly dance and aerial arts studio, kind of think Cirque du Soleil, if you will, right in the heart of downtown Harrisburg. So I have done my best to set all of my businesses up to be the most environmentally sustainable and entrepreneurially sustainable. And I am just hoping to see everyone else make the best choices if and when they start their own businesses. So I want to share my knowledge today.
Yes, that is the perfect segue into today's topic, which is how do you know if you are built for business ownership and some of the pros and cons of being a business owner. But first, I must say that I loved Cirque du Soleil growing up, so I love that comparison there.
Yes, it's sometimes an easier comparison for me to make than what other people have put us in a category for as a pole dance and aerial arts studio. So I just like to lead with that right out of the gate. And leadership is one of those qualities that I think is necessary for a business owner. And today I really want to dive into the things that have made me successful in terms of attracting a network, attracting clientele for these businesses, but also to inspire everyone on their own journey that it is 2024 at the time of this recording. If you're listening in 2025 or 6 or 7 or in the future, like, we thank you for coming back here to this episode. But there are so many things that we can highlight today, but that does not mean that anybody is doing their own path incorrectly. These are the best practices for us, but there is a big, beautiful world out there, and we just are so excited to see all the different ways we can be successful entrepreneurs and business owners.
Yeah, and I love hearing about other people's journeys and their own experiences, and these tips and things that have worked for us, like you said, have worked for you. They have worked for me, and your journey is your own. So this is just a guide to help you get on your path. So I think it's really interesting that you first mentioned leadership. You know, there are followers and there are leaders. So why is leadership such an important component of business ownership?
Leadership is a quality that not everyone has innately, but anyone can learn about it. Anyone can perfect the art of leadership, if you will. But whether it is a business of one, like mine has been for some time, or a business of 1,000, there is going to have to be somebody at the end of the day who makes the hardest decision. It might not be pretty. It might not be even the best decision. Sometimes a leader can make a decision and it's the wrong one, but the decision was made. And the qualities of leadership, to me, at least, mean making the choices when nobody else can or will, and really putting themselves in a position to take a risk and see how that risk pays off. And
Yeah.
a lot of people in my life, even in my personal life, and acquaintances and colleagues I've had over the years, they are not in the position yet. They may be someday, but to really risk sometimes everything that they've built. So
Yeah.
leadership is so important, and it's hard for me to talk about because little vulnerable moment. I
Oh.
have what the trendy kids call imposter syndrome.
Mm.
So even though I have continuously failed forward and I have, made many mistakes and I've learned from all of them, and I'm doing what I've been doing for 11 years, I've won awards and accolades. I have five-star, I think I'm the only salon in central Pennsylvania with a five-star review on
Oh my
Google.
gosh, that's amazing.
So even with all of that, I still feel sometimes incapable of
Mhm.
leadership. And that also I feel like makes me a good leader.
Oh, yes, that's a beautiful point because leadership isn't thinking that you know all of the answers to all of the questions and you're right all of the time. Leadership is about being a very human person and being able to admit when you have made the wrong decision or that you've yeah, it's really great that you mentioned that. I love that. And I think that the more leadership qualities that you possess, I think at times that makes the imposter syndrome a little bit worse because I feel like the higher you go in your awards and your accolades and the reviews and all of that, it creates more of a downfall when the imposter syndrome hits. Would you agree?
I would, and imposter syndrome in a weird way, I love to reframe it as like one of my key tools to retain my compassion and empathy.
Yes. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It really honestly isn't. It keeps us human. It keeps us humble. And sometimes it can happen in business ownership where ego takes over and takes the reins. And I think imposter syndrome really helps keep ego in check. And just a little bit, everybody needs. And I think if you really truly are a good leader, a good business owner, then you do have a little bit of that imposter syndrome at least.
And I think that most of the business leaders in the future are going to need to retain compassion and empathy and treat people with kind candor and innate confidence and all of those things. But for me, I know that we're delving into a little bit about like the pros and cons of owning a business.
Yes.
And so that to me like falls right into both categories.
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome is a pro because it helps me retain my compassion and empathy. But it is a con because it makes me have so much anxiety all the time. And I have like, I can't make a decision sometimes to save I do end up making the decision, but like sometimes it's just like, am I making the right one? What would somebody else do? Like, why isn't somebody else doing what I'm doing? And that almost actually takes me into like the story of how I found some of my reasons for becoming a business owner, and these would fall under the pros: the freedom, flexibility, but finding my why has been really powerful for me.
Yeah.
I went through jobs as a young adult. I did not go, traditional four-year college. Thank goodness now that we all know, what we know about like the only way you can succeed is by going to college.
It's such like a millennial generational thing too,
Well, I
right?
am here to put that to rest because I did not have any college. I mean, I've taken some courses throughout my life, a communications course, a course on economics, but not like for a degree or for like a
Right.
four-year college mindset. And I am a testament to like how successful one can be with, a vocational trade school certificate.
Yes.
Um,
100%.
so along the way in my young adult life, well, actually, okay. I started working when I was 11. I had a paper route because I'm old enough that people used to read newspaper. Then I moved away from that location and that job, and I had like neighborhood dog sitting, house sitting, babysitting, stuff like
Yeah.
that. I was always like kind of starting that entrepreneurial journey when I was young. And those were great because, I was a kid. I didn't know a little bit better. I had to follow the rules, of the adults who were guiding me towards these, house sitting jobs, like, water my plants, let the dog out, whatever. But as I got into the end of high school, I got my first job at Taco Bell. So I was introduced to like the workforce in that way. And then I had, some food service industry jobs. I changed to become a server from like, fast food kind of concepts when I was in no, no, I graduated senior year of high school. I got my first serving job. And that kind of put me into like the fast money, like entrepreneurial side hustle, like, wake up and go and always try to figure out like what I can do to better my own little business that I had in a restaurant. So I was
Right.
working in a restaurant, but my section, the tables that I served, the clients that I interacted with, that was my business. I was the
Oh,
ringleader.
what a great way to look at that.
Yep. So I was, super fast, super, professional to the best of my knowledge. I made sure people didn't want for anything. And that's where like I have two businesses in the service industry, and both of them, are impacted by how I started in the restaurant scene. Uh,
Sure.
Trying to make sure that everyone was taken care of equally,
Yeah.
fairly, for lack of a better term. They didn't want for anything. I learned to always say my pleasure instead of no problem.
Well, that's good too.
Sometimes it bugs me when somebody says no problem, because I'm like, well, it wasn't a problem from my perspective, but you're interpreting it as a problem versus like, oh, can I have a refill on this drink? "Ah, it would be my pleasure."
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so funny you mentioned that because I have a similar situation in a different industry. I mean, I did work in hospitality, and I think that's absolutely essential. Now, these days, of course, we have like the toast thing where they come around with the electronics, or sometimes we were at a restaurant last night where you can use a server or you don't have to. You can order from QR, and it's a whole different industry now. But I think that we were really, really, I hate to use the term blessed, but my gosh, I think we were really lucky to have grown up in that industry the way that we did, because it's just essential to how we operate now. But anyway, getting back to the point at hand.
So, throughout these jobs, I was slightly frustrated because I didn't feel like these businesses understood like why I wanted to do things. And then I've always been, for better or for worse, an overachiever. And
Yeah,
I've had therapy sessions about why I am how I am. And
I
so
should
I
probably
know
do that.
I know why I am how I am, and I'm still proud of how I am. Like the
Yes.
things that make me seek perfection. I know perfection doesn't exist, but I'm always trying to find that one way to get, one
Yeah.
step closer. I don't have unachievable or unattainable or non-realistic goals, but I do have goals that really set my standards to be higher every day. I want to be better today than who I was yesterday. That's my only competition. But I think that those, even though it may have come from less than positive experiences, I think that it made me positive as a whole.
Yes.
So throughout this sling of the jobs that I had, I couldn't find people who were on the same mission as me. And then it was getting slightly frustrating to be managed, if you will, because I felt like I was continuously going above and beyond. Why wasn't everyone around me also putting in that same, effort and energy? So I kind of got to the place where I was just like, well, I know I can do this better. So let me have my side hustle. I saved up I was working like 4 jobs at the time, through the end of beauty school and into the start of my cosmetology career. I worked really hard. I saved. I didn't really tell anyone what I was doing. And one day it was tax time. My current spouse and I got our tax refund from the previous year. And with that and what I'd been able to save, I was like, all right, I'm signing the lease on my first salon
Oh
because
my gosh.
I just know that I can do what I'm meant to do and what I'm setting out to do. And I can
Yes.
do it, better than anyone who's come before me.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I love how you described that it was getting frustrating because you were in a business with people that weren't on the same mission and they weren't excelling as much as you wanted to excel. And you can't take those people with you. When you own your own business, you have the ability to bring people on that journey. And that is a pro for sure, is bringing people along for the ride to success with you, whatever that looks like. And I posted something this weekend actually about always just if you do one thing in life, always make sure that you continue to want to see people in your circle continue to succeed and be their best. And I think that is absolutely one pro of being a business owner, is being able to take people with you.
It is. And, being able, I call it legacy. So my why was very known to me. I just didn't have anywhere to do it. So I had to create that why. So now I have a brand. I have, multiple businesses under that brand. And anyone who knows me knows exactly what the two E's in my name stand for.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, "Oh, I'm looking for a low toxic or non-toxic salon that uses high quality ingredients, that is also a champion for the community and wants to see it be better," they're like, Mikey, you gotta go to Metro Mikey's salon, or you have to go to Metropolis Dance Studio, or you have to reach out to his Instagram, or you have to start the conversation, or you have to graduate from beauty school and go work for him. So
Yeah.
I literally had to create that for it to be a thing here.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when you're so clear on your why, you have to create that whole path, that world, that journey, and that's what makes you a great business owner. And, but that journey isn't easy. It's not easy at all. And there are cons to being a business owner. And I think that when you have all of that, you sign that lease and you take that risk. That risk can be a con if you haven't realized the work that it takes to be a business owner. So I saw something funny recently. It was a meme that said, the best thing about being a business owner is that you get to choose which 80 hours of the week you want to work.
Or 100.
Or 100. Or more.
Or more. And so the two biggest reasons I hear about people wanting to start a business or be a business owner or leave the 9 to 5 is freedom and flexibility. Now both of those things I would sincerely put in the pro
Yes.
column, if you will, for why I should have my own business. Both of those come with a con that some people think is unaware, or some people I think are unaware of. And that would be to create something successful, at least initially. The freedom that we're talking about, the flexibility, is which 80 hours a week do you want to work?
Yeah.
The con of freedom is work ethic,
Yes.
discipline, commitment, consistency, failure.
The whole gamut.
Because it is going to be all of those things. And I know a lot of people who I believe would make great business owners or have $1 million idea, and they can't wake up every day at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
to work 2 hours on their business before they go to work at 7:30,
Yeah.
or to save enough money to take a 2-month to 2-year sabbatical from their life to be able to quit their job, live on their savings, and then make that leap. And so what I was like, I already mentioned, I was working 4 jobs at one time to open my first business. Does that, I don't know, don't hate me, but I don't know one person from Gen Z who wants to work 4 jobs. And the current trend is they don't want to work any. So it is not easy to go from, being a follower to a leader.
Yeah, there are certain habits, and now I'm not very invested in the how do I say, the younger generation, purely because I don't have children of my own, that kind of gets me in the door. So, I see things on social media and I hear things from other parents that I know, and I see how some kids operate. And I do think, where is the work ethic coming from?
So I also don't have kids, and I never would consider myself an expert in the realm of parenting or, intergenerational dynamics, but I do get to cut hair for many people of all different ages, all different job industries, socioeconomic backgrounds, and the few kids that I do come into contact with, sometimes I feel like, where is the work ethic? But my brain has kind of shifted to reframe that as like, they are entering a society that has different work to have ethics for. Like,
Oh, yeah.
some of these kids, elementary school, middle school, high school, early college, they are going to go on to like prompt chat GPT in ways that you and I would not imagine.
That's
And
so
that,
true.
like, that is going to be already software designers is the fastest falling category when it comes to job recruitment. Like,
Sure.
there are less software development positions available now than there ever has been. It's not because software isn't important. It's because we have different tools to write the software. We're using our human capital to do other kind of work.
Yes.
So I'm not necessarily, like, I never tried to demean younger generations or older generations.
Sure.
Just let's be clear. But I have to maintain that I don't want to be my grandfather, who used to tell me that Green Day and TLC and Hanson and all the things that I was, Britney Spears,
Oh my
that
gosh.
music is trash. Get off my lawn. And I was like, I don't want to grow up to be that person. Now, it's not just music, but that's the easiest for me to relate to. I don't want to
Yes.
tell these kids that they're not working hard, because in their mind, they are working really hard. It's
Sure.
just a different world for them. And
Yeah.
we are the first, you and me, Nell, we're the first generation to be born with no technology. And now we're literally sitting in like a fancy online recording studio.
I know. Look at us.
So we have gone through the fastest change in revolution, in technological revolution ever.
Yeah.
And so these kids are not in the same world that we are. And I just have to respect that and trust them to make their own choices and live their own life and hopefully do all the things that you and I believe are good business owner and leadership qualities.
Yes. Yes. And I think the big goal is to hopefully we can rely on them to leave the world a better place than we found it.
And my legacy will be helping teach them how to do that.
Exactly. Exactly. Mikey, what are some of your last thoughts to wrap up the episode here? I think we have touched on some really great points.
So, pros and con lists are really hard to come up with when I think about business and entrepreneurship, because literally everything falls in both categories.
It's so true. It really is. I mean, even if you just talk about risk, I mean, it's so easy to put risk in a con category, but if you take it and it works, then it's a pro.
Just like the casino. But so my final thoughts is, if I look deep down and I decide that I am built for business ownership, entrepreneurship, whatever path that looks like for you. If I look deep down inside of myself and I decide the answer is yes, take that risk, make the jump, go to ChatGPT, ask it what first 2 steps should I do to start my own business. It might not give you the perfect answer, but it will inspire you to do something. And then just go, make it work. It's going to be full of pros, it's going to be full of cons, but at least at the end, if and when we haven't cured mortality and we're sitting in our deathbed, we will not wonder what if.
That's so beautifully put, and a really, really great mic drop moment.
A
That's
Mikey
perfect.
drop.
The Mikey drop. That's it. Oh my gosh, we need to have a segment. What do you think? Mikey drop moments.
The Mikey drop. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Mikey, this has been an amazing episode to record with you today. Thank you so, so much for doing this with me.
Of course, thank you for having me. If you want to connect with me, like I said, my social media is at Metro Mikey on all platforms. You can find me anywhere social media exists. At metromikeys.com if you need to reach out for hair services, metropolishbg.com if you need to sign up for some sustainable, eco-friendly Cirque du Soleil style pole dance lessons. And I look forward to being back here on future episodes of the Entrepreneur's Edge, or the Ecopreneurs Edge.
Well, today it's all about entrepreneurialism, so you get a pass. Oh, awesome. Thank you so, so much. And thank you to all of you, the listeners, the viewers. If you are on YouTube, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening to this on your favorite audio platform, don't forget to leave us a review. That's how we grow here at the What the Nell podcast and excuse me, now you got me doing it. The Ecopreneur's Edge edition. So thank you all so, so much. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.
To learn more about how to tell your story, connect with Nell at enticingmedia.com. That's ENTICEING media.com. Thanks for listening to the What the Nell podcast.